And while it will be days before we know the final results, the ballot tallies still give us a lot to unpack. Chris Costa joins us from the newsroom with a look at how the numbers are shaking out in the gubernatorial race. Hi, Chris.
Hey there, Amanda and Brian. Yeah, we are keeping an eye on this number here in the top right-hand corner, that 77% reporting, how much of the vote has actually come in, how close we are to getting to 100% or 99% of that vote coming in. On the Republican side of the governor's race, one thing that we've talked about is how close these candidates are. Not necessarily Bobby Charles, because we know he's got a decent lead for the state, but these two, Ben Midgley and Jonathan Bush, really only separated by about 300 votes, 0.3 percentage points. I mean, if you look at the total votes for them, a very, very small gap. So it'll really depend on who people rank as their first, second, and third, their second and third choices to see which one of those three candidates will eventually get the 50%. One thing I want you to take a look at is some historical data. This tells us how important this election was to voters. In June of 2018, on the Republican side of the governor's primary, you had Mary Mayhew, Sean Moody, Ken Fredette, and Garrett Mason, who also ran this time. You had 88,000 votes cast on that side of the primary. Fast forward to this Republican primary for governor, and you've got 118,000, 30,000 more votes cast on that side of the race alone. Let's flip over to the Democratic side of the governor's race so we can show you the exact same thing. Got to just punch out here so you can see the whole state. And we're going to just tap off that graph so that we can get over to the Democratic side. We talked about how close these candidates are. We're starting to see a little bit of separation, but again, it was Troy Jackson, Shenna Bellows at 3-4, where there's that really close race. Separation there from Hannah Pingree, about 5,000 votes ahead. Again, this number is interesting to me, the total votes on the Democratic side of the primary. When you look at 2018, we had a similarly crowded field. Janet Mills was running up against Adam Cody, I'm not going to get them all, Mark Dion, Donna Dion, Diane Russell, and a couple, there were 7 total candidates, very much like this time. In that race, in 2018, 120,000 votes were cast. This time, almost double. 208,000, so 80,000 plus, an almost doubling of people coming out to vote in this very, very popular and important election. Once we get those numbers that start to tell us who's going to get closer to 50%, we'll have a better idea of what this gap will look like between those 4 candidates. In the newsroom, I'm Chris Costa, News Center, Maine.